Hey guys, it's Billie Eilish. Listen to today's top hits, a playlist where hits are made only on Spotify.
baseline drop, 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 drop. everywhere, still not able to get around him. What an unbelievable defensive masterclass this is from Unorthodox. Pit window, we reckon, is open, so the game reckons that these guys need to make one more pit stop for a fresh set of inters. As we see just Joseph having a little to the inside. Dan tries to close the door. Oh, squeezes up against the pit wall. It goes late on the brakes just Dan. Somehow he's going to hold on to that position. Wow! Unbelievable racing that was from Unorthodox. Just Jose had the inside line. Dan went so late on the brakes and managed to hold it down on the outside, and just Jose wasn't able to cling onto the position. That is incredible racing there from Unorthodox. Really got his elbows massively there in that little battle. But just Jose still not able to get ahead of Dan. But is he going to be able to do it now? He's going to have the outside. Dan's going to try and throw one back up the inside. Is he? Is. Oh, look at that. He's gone deep into the corner though. And I think just Jose's got to have that move done. He has. Just Jose swoops round into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Dan can fight it no more. He put up a valiant effort. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We're here for round 6 of the Formula 1 Championship on the Codemasters Formula 1 game here in F1 2021. We have got a hell of a treat in store for us tonight. Apex Finley currently sat in pole position right now, setting the pace. Our man who last week was probably the quickest man at Canada, but wasn't able to take the win. Last week's race winner Luke Beck not with us, so Apex Finley is going to be looking to try and make sure that he gets that win that eluded him last week, having got the pole position. We've got Djphil-green in second, returning after a long holiday, 3 weeks away with his dad Raki, and unfortunately Raki unable to join us for tonight due to the fact that he is he's actually attending first practice, or the practice sessions at Zandvoort today, so wasn't able to come along and join us out on the track, but I'm sure he's had quite a treat out there today. But Joe, currently in second place right now, 6/10 behind Apex Finley in the qualifying leaderboard. Hasbaz in third, did a great job last week, did Hasbaz. Canada led most of the race up until the last lap where Luke Beck managed to overhaul him and get the lead and get the win. Hasbaz was a gallant second last time out and we're looking to try and go one better this time. We've got Dadaloper in fourth place at the moment here in this session, in the driving in the Aston Martin by the looks of it as a reserve tonight. And Dadaloper, I'm sure, is going to be looking to try and impress once again. Won the race a couple of weeks ago at Baku. That was a surprise winner due to the fact that we had so many retirements, and Dadaloper managed to get to the finish. It was an impressive job from him, so he'll be looking to try and replicate the form that he had a couple of weeks ago with his race win at Azerbaijan, that is for sure. We've got Sergey Zeynalov returning to the Formula 1 grid here at Motive Racing tonight. He was in 5th, he's now been pushed down to 6th because Horatio's gone up into 5th. But Sergey is our ACC GT3 coordinator, one of our admins and moderators here at Motive. Good to have him back out on the track after he's had a bit of an interesting summer. So I think he's at uni now as well as Sergey, so he's got a lot on his plate, but still taking the time to join us and get involved in the action. Also, he's going to be doing a lot of work behind the scenes on the GT3 League for this season on ACC. Also got Horatio, who's moved up into 5th place, our regular in the other stream that we got, the other league that we stream, the Wednesday and Sunday league. He's joining us here on a Friday night. Good to have Horatio in the Alpine for this one. He's a second and a half off the pace at the moment, but I'm sure he can improve as this session goes on. Jaffa-Cake in P7 at the moment. He's just coming through the middle sector by the looks of it. We've got Ozan Klin in 8th, making his return to the grid after a couple of weeks away. Iron Wolf in 9th, one of the regulars in the Wednesday and Sunday League. Mr. Basil currently sat in P10 at the moment here in this session in the Williams. Festic in 11th in the Ferrari. We've got Polish My Balls in 12th. Rednas P13 at the moment, our regular last season, making his return to Motive Racing for this round. And we've got Gameful currently sat in P14. That's me sat in 14th place there because I pressed spectate about 50 times in the build up to this. I don't know why it's made me a driver. So I'm having to retire to the session. So hopefully we don't have a repeat of Monaco last season. Only 2 times in about 25, 30 races that I've done commentaries on this have I forgotten to press the spectate button. And this is the second of those times. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't actually forget. I know for a fact that I pressed spectate, but hey, I don't know. But oh well, it's not the end of the world. Dadaloper's gone up into second place, only 0.2 of a second off of Apex Finley's fastest time so far. So Dadaloper's really setting a solid pace here in that Aston Martin, but Apex Finley's currently the man to beat. Djphil-green still sat in 3rd, 0.6 off of Apex Finley, hasn't improved his lap time since then. Hasbaz has moved clear of Horatio. He is 1.2 seconds off of the pace at this point, but he's sat in the pits at the moment. So Hasbaz, Horatio, Jaffa-Cake, Ozan Klin, Iron Wolf, Polish My Balls and Gamefly all sat in the pits. Everybody else is out there on lap times. As Joanne's coming through the middle sector, and he is 1/10 of a second up on his personal best coming through the middle sector. If he can find half a second in this final sector, then Joanne might be able to put himself on the top spot and get onto provisional pole here for the French Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Joanne had a solid start to the season, but it kind of all started to unravel for him a little bit in the second race at Spain. He was leading the race at Bahrain for most of it, but then closing stages had a crash from the lead of the race brought the safety car out and opened up a whole new can of worms for the guys who were still out on the track. But unfortunately for him, his race is over at that point. He's come out towards the line now. What can Joram do? Can he go provisional pole here? He can't, but he gets pretty close. Look at that, 4/10 off of Apex Finley's fastest time, and Joram's got time on his side here in this session to get the hammer down. But as I said, disappointing first round of the season. Could have had his first win at Motive, but unfortunately crashed out from the lead. The race in Spain was a similar disappointment for him. The end of the race really didn't go to plan at all. Crashed out near the end. Since then, he's been on holiday, so we haven't really been able to see what he can do since then. So Joram making his reappearance, and so far setting some good lap times here. We've got Nem Vidic in the session. He'll be able to join us for the race. Penguin Dude didn't do his update before the race, so I don't know if he's going to be joining us or not. Hopefully he will get in time. We got Hasbaz on his outlap as this array showed. Sergey's coming through the final part of the lap now, so let's see what Sergey can do. He's coming in towards the final few corners. He will get a bit of a tow here as he comes out onto the start finish straight off of Ferrari. Let's see what Sergey Zeynalov is able to do as he comes up towards the line, and he goes P4 with that lap, so that's pretty solid there from Sergey. About a second off of the pace of Apex Finley. Apex Finley has extended that margin at the top of the leaderboard to 6 tenths clear, so that's pretty nicely done there from him. DJ Phil did very briefly jump in the commentary box there, but unfortunately didn't talk to us, so I don't know whether or not DJ Phil is just trying to get himself in the session. He's not actually in the qualifying session at the moment, but hopefully he'll get in time for the race. We're expecting 17 cars, I believe, for the race, so it should be action-packed, but only 14 out there at the moment. A couple of guys sat in the lobby, one driver doing an update at the moment. Here we go, we've got Phil in the commentary box with us right now. DJ Phil, unfortunately didn't get in the qualifying session, mate, but are you in the lobby? That's the important question. Your mic's on mute, mate. Alright, well DJ Phil's not turned his mic off of mute, so we can't hear what he's saying at the moment, but Apex Finley just coming into the pits for a change of tyres, presumably putting a set of softs on, so he'll have the absolute maximum grip coming into the final part of this session. Hopefully for him, he'll try and extend his gap at the top of the leaderboard. Joram currently still sat in second place on a 1:29 dead, so he's only a tenth of a second off of Apex Finley's fastest lap time right now, and it's pretty close as well. Game for Life has closed up to within 3/10 of these guys on a 1:29.2. Dada Lopez on his outlap, currently sat in 4th place. Sergey's now dropped to 9/10 off of the pace, although he is still improving lap times at the moment. He's in P5, but he's just backed off a little bit coming through the middle sector, presumably trying to get some space on the track so he can go for a proper dint at it in the final part of this session. But he's coming into the pits, so he's presumably putting a new set of soft tyres on to go one more time here in this session. Horatio in 6th place, 1.1 seconds off the pace. Hasbaz in 7th, currently 1.5 seconds off the pace being set by Apex Finley. Mr. Basil in 8th at the moment. Iron Wolf the highest runner on the medium tyres. He's 2.5 seconds off the pace being set by Apex Finley though. Jaffa Cake in 10th with Alozan Clint in 11th place. Rednas down in P12, not where he wants to be for sure. Fastic in 13th at the moment. Polish My Balls rounding out the field in P14 at the moment, and he is just coming into pits by the looks of it as well.
Hello, very good evening to Andy. Hello, Andy.
Hi, you're right, Phil. Your mic's very loud.
I know. I'm in the lobby, but I don't know which car I'm going to be in. It may just jump me into any car.
Is your McLaren taken? It isn't taken,
no,
so you
it
should
isn't
be able to jump
taken,
in.
but it may have jumped me into a different car because I couldn't select it.
Oh,
in the lobby.
It threw you straight into the session.
Yeah, it took me straight into the session, but I couldn't select my car.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah, that does sometimes happen, so it's going to be luck of the draw as to whether or not Phil is in the right car tonight. We've got Nem Vidic in the session. He's just jumped in, but it's not letting everybody jump into the session straight away at the moment. But Phil, for what you're seeing in this qualifying session at the moment, looks pretty tight at the top, doesn't it? And it's pretty tight throughout the field. I mean, you've got the top guys, say from Apex Finley down to Horatio, then you've got the mid pack of Hasbaz all the way down to Rednas, and then Festic, Polish My Balls pretty close as well. So it's looking like we're in for a good race tonight. Looking at these times.
It is indeed. I think Apex Finley is going to be the one who's going to win tonight's race.
Well, yeah, he definitely is looking strong, and he took pole position last week at Canada, but he got a bit unlucky. He was actually in a clear lead when the first safety car came out last week, and then really got quite unlucky as he's just left the session for some reason. I'm not sure why, but hopefully he gets back in before this session concludes. Just as we talk about him and big him up, he disconnects.
The commentator's curse has just come out.
Yeah, the commentator's curse now doesn't just work for on-track incidents. It actually, we can curse your internet as well. It's got to that point. We're on the next level now. But unfortunately, Apex Finny out of the session for the time being. Hopefully, he can get back in before this session ends. Otherwise, he won't be able to take his position on pole. Game for Life we saw cutting the inside of the first chicane, presumably trying to get round in time so that he gets to start another flying lap. He's on the cusp right now. He might not get there in time, but he's got 3 tenths to find on Apex Finny, the provisional pole sitter. Apex Finny and Gelram both in the pits. Hopefully Apex Finny is back in the session. I haven't seen that pop up on the screen, but fingers crossed. But Gelram in second at the moment. He's sat in the pits. He's not going to improve from there. Got really bad hiccups tonight. Dadalopa in P4 in a minute. He's 6 tenths off for the fastest time. He's the race winner at Azerbaijan a couple of rounds ago. So he's going to be looking to try and upstage these guys and pull a rabbit out of the hat in these final knockings of this session. He's got a couple of corners to go. He's got Game 5 just up ahead of him, who's been cutting corners left, right and centre to get round in time, but he is going to start another flying lap, so good for him. Dadalopa coming over the line. What's it going to be for him? He doesn't improve on that one. 2 tenths down on his personal best, 8 tenths down on the provisional pole time by Apex Finley. So Dadalopa's got work to do. Time's up, so everybody who's not on a lap is done for the session. Game for Life, Dadalopa both on lap times at the moment. Also Jaffa Cakers and Red Nassar, so I hope they'll be hoping to improve a little bit. Jaffa Cake can get himself in the thick of it. Oh, Red Nassar spun out. Red Nassar's lost it. Coming through the middle sector there, and I think that's going to put a nail in his chances of improving in this session. Jaffa Cake is well down on his personal best, so he's had a horrible lap and he's not going to improve on his personal best. And then Vidic is also out there on a lap. He'll get 1 run in before the end of this session. Let's see how he does, but we're going to watch these two here, Game for Life and Dadalopa, who are the only ones out on track on flying laps right now. Who is it going to be for pole? It's looking very much like it's going to be Apex Finny, and next Game for Life is up on his time. Well, he's close to it. He's 400ths down on his personal best through that middle sector, so he's on a good lap. If he can find 3 tenths in this final sector, it's not too much of an ask. If he finds 3 tenths, if he really just gets the hammer down through this part of the track, then he may find himself on pole position here. Apex Finny's going to be watching this quite intently. Also, Dadalopa not too far behind him on the track, so he'll be crossing the line shortly after him. But Game for Life in towards the final few corners. Here comes the McLaren. He hasn't had the best of luck in the races so far this season, but he's always quick in the qualifying. Out of the final corner here, Game for Life will get a bit of a tow here from the car in front. What is it going to be for Game for Life? He comes up towards the line, and he's pole position there for Game for Life by about 100th of a second. Dadalopa pits, so he's not going to improve. But Game for Life at the death there, wrestles pole position away from Apex Finley, and that was a superb lap there, Phil. Look at that, your teammate on pole position.
A real brilliant lap from Game for Life.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there from the man in the McLaren. I think that is going to be that then for the session. Everybody in the pits, all the checker flag symbols out, which means that they are done for the session. So I think that's going to have been the winner here in this qualifying session. Now, quick heads up, I've actually accidentally registered myself as a driver for this race, so I will have to, we're just going to go to a short break, intermission, just to cover up the fact that I'm going to be on the formation lap myself. So we'll be back very, very shortly, guys, for the race. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back in a moment. Continuing to lead, and just Jose having little looks everywhere, still not able to get around him. What an unbelievable defensive masterclass this is from Unorthodox. Pit window, we reckon, is open, so the game reckons that these guys need to make one more pit stop for a fresh set of inters. As we see just Joseph having a little look to the inside. Dan tries to close the door, squeezes up against the pit wall. It goes late on the brakes, just Dan. Somehow he's going to hold on to that position. Wow! Unbelievable racing that was from unorthodox. Just Jose had the inside line. Dan went so late on the brakes and managed to hold it around the outside, and just Jose wasn't able to cling onto the position. That is incredible racing there from unorthodox. Really got his elbows massively there in that little battle. But just Jose still not able to get ahead of Dan. But is he going to be able to do it now? He's going to have the outside. Dan's going to try and throw one back up the inside. Is he is? Oh, look at that. He's gone deep into the corner though. And I think just Jose's got to have that move done. He has. Just Jose swoops round into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Dan can fight it no more. He put up a valiant effort. Cutting some corners. I shouldn't be on the formation. I'm going to try and get disqualified. Oh, no bitch, it just crashed. What do I have to do to get disqualified, man?
Go into somebody's car.
No, I can't do that. I'll get in so much trouble. Alright, let's just stick the intro on. Continuing to lead, and just Jose having little looks everywhere, still not able to get around him. What an unbelievable defensive masterclass this is from unorthodox. Pit window, we reckon, is open, so the game reckons that these guys need to make one more pit stop for a fresh set of inters. As we see just Jose having a little look to the inside. Dan tries to close the door, squeezes up against the pit wall. It goes late on the brakes, just Dan. Somehow he's going to hold on to that position. Wow! Unbelievable racing that was from unorthodox. Just Jose had the inside line. Dan went so late on the brakes and managed to hold it around the outside, and just Jose wasn't able to cling onto the position. That is incredible racing there from unorthodox. Really got his elbows massively there in that little battle. But just Jose still not able to get ahead of Dan. But is he going to be able to do it now? He's going to have the outside. Dan's going to try and throw one back up the inside. Is he is? Oh, look at that. He's gone deep into the corner though. And I think just Jose's got to have that move done. He has. Just Jose swoops round into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Dan can fight it no more. He put up a valiant effort. Oh my god, I just want to retire from the race. Can I do that, please? Let me retire.
Yeah, you can if you press your home button.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are out of the race now. We should be retiring. Please let me spectate. There we go, yes. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Right, we are on here for... Sorry, mate?
We had a spin out at the back of the field. There's a carnage going on here.
Yeah, but a spinner already there, so Iron Wolf is dropped down to the back of the field, but Game for Life has maintained the lead here. Apex Finny looks like he's been knocked about a bit, down to 5th place here on the opening lap of this race. But side by side coming up towards the chicane, he's going to be on the outside. Apex Finny getting pushed out a little bit as Sergey's looking to the inside there. But the Alpine there for Ratio is just in front. Oh, and Sergey spun it coming into the chicane. The Haas is round, and he's going to drop way down the field there, so not the opening lap that Sergey would have wanted. Game for Life, though, leads the race ahead of Joram. There's Dadalopa in third with Hasbach behind him. Horatio, Apex finished sixth. Rednas is up into 7th place. What an opening lap there from him. Mr. Basil in 8th. There's Sergey. Then Vidic in P10. Jaffa Cake. DJ Phil into 12th place. Ozan Klin, Festic, Iron Wolf, and Polish My Balls at the back of the field here. But Game for Life's already trying to make a break for it out of the front. You can see here, trying to make the most of this opportunity that he's got out in front, having got pole position. But Joram's not giving it easy to him at the moment. That is for sure. Joram's still sticking to the back of him, keeping him under pressure. And Joram's needs to make sure he can score highly over these next few rounds to make up for the 3 races that he missed over the last 3 weeks. So, first lap complete. Game for Life currently setting a scorching pace out the front. As we've also got Rednas up into 5th, and Hasbaz is dropping down the order. What's happened to Hasbaz? He's in the pits, that's why he's dropping down the order. So, Rednas on the medium tyres up into 5th place here in this race. What a start to his race from back in P14 on the grid. Cannot fault the way that he's driven over this first lap or so. As we can see, Sergey looking to the inside of Rednas though, into turn 3, and Sergey Zeynalov's got that move done there up into 5th place. Nicely done there from him. Game for Life though, 1.3 seconds back to Joram at the moment. Dadalopa's got Horatio not too far behind him at the moment. These two pretty close. As let's jump on board with Horatio. He's a little bit too far back coming into the chicane. No DRS on this lap. DRS won't be available until lap 3 of the race. We've got Rednas on the back of Sergey, still not giving up there, but now Rednas has got Mr. Basil up his inside into the chicane, and Mr. Basil cuts the inside of the chicane quite horrifically there. It looks like he's got away with that one scot-free. Jaffa Cake on the back of Rednas here. He won't get DRS down this part. He wouldn't get it even if it was a DRS lap. As Pengadu's joined the session, but he's unfortunately too late there and will not get to race in this one. That is a real shame there for Penguin Dude. We've got Apex Finney down in 9th place after a turbulent start to this race. And then Vidic running just behind him in 10th place. DJ Phil in 11th. Iron Wolf closing up onto the back of DJ Phil after a difficult opening lap to the race. Polish My Balls there in 13th place at the moment. Hasbaz not having the race that he had last week. He's already made a pit stop, presumably to get some damage fixed. He's put a set of the mediums on, so he might be able to go and he might be able to do a 2-stopper. He might only need to do 1 stop from here to the end of the race. So it might not all be all doom and gloom at this point. We'll have to wait and see. Ozan Klin a long way behind Hasbaz, and Ozan Klin and Festic currently battling it out over 15th place. Not the start that they would have wanted in any way, shape or form. But Game for Life still holding on to the lead at the moment. Jaffa Cake's got Mr. Basil crawling all over the back of him here, but Jaffa Cake's managed to get ahead of him, and Rednas has dropped down to position. Oh, Rednas has lost it. Rednas has lost it, and Apex Finney and then Vidic move up, and Apex Finney ghosted through him there. Do you know what? I don't think Apex Finney's there. That's his AI. If I hold on, then Vidic is on. What? We're not supposed to do that. That's going to be a disqualification. But yeah, that'll be an instant DQ there. However, Game for Life still leads ahead of Joram right now, over a second between these two. Game for Life currently doing what he has to do out the front. I don't know how clear we have to be about this whole AI situation. We said it's not. How clear do you have to be? Like, honestly. We've said it's an instant DQ if you have the AI on, but people still do it. It doesn't make any sense. Right, so then Vidic is back at the screen now. He's not got his AI in, that's good. Maybe he disconnected or something, who knows, not sure. But right now Apex Finney's a sitting duck for absolutely everybody because he's not even in the car. And now Rednas is within DRS range of Nem Vidic. So coming up towards turn 1, goes a little bit deep into the corner, can't get it stopped in time, and can't get it done on Nem Vidic at the moment. Let's see what Rednas can do out of here. He's going to get DRS done this straight up towards the chicane. He'll get some decent closing speed, but is he in striking distance to go for it? He's going to have a look to the inside. Then Vidic stays on his line there on the outside, and Rednas is going to get that comfortably done before the chicane, and he's up into the final points paying position here in this race. In the meantime, Game for Life's keeping the gap to Joram at around 1.7 seconds. Joram's keeping him in sight, but there's still just a bit of a cushion there between those two, and Game for Life's got Joram where he needs him right now. Dadalopa running in third place, 3.5 seconds off of these two in that final podium spot. Horatio's doing a decent job there in fourth place. He's managed to gap Sergey a bit. Sergey's gapped Djphil-green. The pack's starting to spread out a little bit now. Redness all over the back of Polish My Balls in this fight for ninth place. And looks like Nembilic has made a mistake. He's dropped back a little bit here in this race. I'm not sure what's happened there to him. But Redness looking to try and continue to make progress here in this race on the back of Polish My Balls. And Polish My Balls goes really wide there. And the last corner, oh no, Redness has lost it. Got a little bit hot-headed there. Put the foot down a little bit too overzealously, and he's dropped now down to 11th place. So he's going to have to go again. Mr. Basil in the pits. He's already been in the box, so he's off for no way once again. And he's put a fresh set of the medium tyres on with Mr. Basil, so he'll be able to go a long way into this race now. He's coming out just behind Nembilic in P14 at the moment. It's Mr. Basil. But it is still Game for Life leading the way. But Joram's still keeping him in sight at the moment. Dadalopa there in P3 at this point. Horatio's still keeping tabs on him right now. As looks like Mr. Basil's dropped after his pit stop. He's now on the back of Nembilic. Let's see what's going on here between these two. Now he's going to have a look. Is Mr. Basil looking to the inside? Nembilic on the outside. I think Mr. Basil's got the move done before the corner. He has DRS assisted there, and Mr. Basil is up into 12th place rather routinely between those two. As Game for Life's coming in to make his first pit stop, and Joram staying out will take the lead here of the French Grand Prix at Motive Racing. Dadalopa also doing the same as Game for Life. Both of those two coming into the pits to put some fresh tyres on, and they're both opting for the mediums. So I wonder if the plan is to do a stint on the mediums and then possibly put the softs on at the end, or are they going to play it safe and put a set of the mediums on at the end and not try and stretch these mediums beyond their capabilities? We'll have to see what they do in that regard. So Game for Life, the highest runner of those who have been into the pits. Dadalopa, second of those who have been into the pits. He's just behind Iron Wolf at the moment. Asbaz has been into the pits, but he came in on lap 1 due to damage, so he's not really in that battle at the moment. Iron Wolf's done 5 laps on those medium tyres, so I'm not really sure if he's got what it takes to go to the end. Obviously, he can't go to the end from on these tyres, but I wonder what he can do in terms of strategy. Probably he's going to have to put another set of the mediums on and then go to the end on a new set, but we'll have to keep our eyes on that one. He has got Dadalopa onto the back of him now, so Dadalopa's going to want to try and clear Iron Wolf as quickly as he can, seeing as he's on fresher tyres and he was up the front before he just came into the pits. He's currently got Iron Wolf between him and Game for Life at the moment. Game for Life, the net race leader, and the actual race leader, Joram, is coming into the pits now, so those soft tyres couldn't go much longer by the looks of it. We're expecting Game for Life to come out ahead of Joram once Joram's made that pit stop. Sergey's coming into the pits as well, and Djphil-green also. So all of the soft runners, barring Apex, Vinny, Nembilic and DJ Phil, are still yet to come in to make a pit stop and change onto some medium tyres, but that seems like that's the favoured option for almost everybody right now. So Joram has put another set of the softs on. Wow, that's a bit of a ballsy move. What about Sergey? Sergey's put the mediums on, as has Djphil-green, but wowee, Joram there really is rolling the dice as Horatio now leads this race. We'll get a moment to show the way. He's obviously going to have done 6 laps on those soft tyres by the end of this race, which is no mean feat. It's quite difficult. The very, very high tyre deg circuit is Paul Ricard, so it's definitely not easy to get those to go that far. He'll have done 7 laps on them by the end of this lap, so pretty good going there from Horatio. But Game for Life will retake the lead of the race. Joram's come out behind Game for Life, but now on those soft tyres, Joram will probably have about half a second to 7/10 of a second a lap of an advantage over Game for Life, which means that he'll probably close up onto the back of him and will need to make that move quickly in order to make the most of this stint. But he'll have about 6 or 7 laps on those soft tyres, and then I assume he'll have to put the mediums on and go to the end in the final stint. But Game for Life looks like he's going to try and go for his soft stint on the last stint and do his medium stint in the middle stint. So at this point, Joram's going to have the pace advantage, but in the long run, it's going to definitely benefit Game for Life, as we can see just Horatio coming into the pits, and he's made that pit stop and he's off, up and away. And I think he'll come out probably behind Dadalopa. Yeah, he will come out behind Dadalopa. He'll come out quite close to Iron Wolf, actually. Yeah, Horatio comes out behind Iron Wolf, about 3-4 seconds behind him. Comes out just ahead of Sergey Zeynalov there. So Horatio out in P5, Sergey there in 6th at the moment. Bit of a gap back to Djphil-green there in 7th place for the time being. Sergey, though, within about a second here of Horatio. And is he going to be able to try and make use of Horatio's cold tyres here and possibly go for it in the DRS zone? He's definitely in striking distance. If he get a good exit out of this corner here, he might fancy his chances. But Horatio's, I think, it's just got just enough of a gap as they came through the DRS detection point. And actually, Sergey didn't even get DRS, so he was out of that 1 second window. Wasn't able to get onto it. Always had Djphil-green had a moment there. He's dropped behind Hasbaz and Mr. Basil down to 9th place. Didn't really see what was going on there, but Mr. Basil's made a mistake there, and he's now dropped back. So Mr. Basil and Djphil-green both making a mistake in the space of a couple of corners. Polish My Balls moves up into 9th place ahead of Mr. Basil onto the back of Djphil-green, but Djphil-green now behind Hasbaz, 5 seconds back, and Hasbaz has managed to get 7th place as a result. The man who was in 2nd last week at Canada gave a great fight to Luke Beck, but wasn't able to trump him. Came up 2nd best ultimately in that one, but he's coming back at them in this one so far. Sergey Zeynalov, though, still sat in P6 on the back of Horatio. Wasn't close enough in the DRS zone last time we were in the DRS, but still in striking distance at this point, still in a decent position. Let's see what he can do, see what he can make happen here in this one. DRS down the start finish straight they come. A little bit too far back at the moment. 7 tenths isn't going to dust bust on no crumpets by the end of this straight. He'll be closer though. Onto the brakes they come. 4 tenths between the two of them as they hit the brakes. Sergey may fancy an opportunity coming down the long straight up to the chicane. In the meantime, Joram on the soft tyres is hunting down the leader Game for Life, but he's going to need to be careful here as he'll have DRS coming down this straight towards the chicane. It will definitely get him closer, but it's not going to get him close enough to make a move onto the brakes. Game for Life's got very good straight line speed. You can see, despite DRS, oh no, it's Nem Vidic. Of course, Game for Life had DRS on Nem Vidic. Completely disregarded that, so that was why Joram didn't really have the closing speed I would have expected him to have. And no DRS in this part of the track, so it's going to stay as you were. But Joram on those soft tyres needs to make this work ASAP with Game for Life, because those soft tyres are going to shrivel up after about 7 laps. So he needs to get ahead of Game for Life and try and pull that gap before we get into the final stint of the race. Game for Life will be able to go long on those medium tyres. So Joram will have the advantage for, I would say, the next, I don't know, 11-12 laps, because then he'll have fresh mediums on compared to Game for Life's worn out mediums. So yeah, I think even once Joram comes into the pits, he'll still have a pace advantage over Game for Life, but then Game for Life will have that impetus at the end to really just send it and fully go for it on the soft tyres. But they're just coming around to put a lap on Festic right now. These two leaders going at it here for the French Grand Prix at Motive Racing. Game for Life defends to the inside. Joram can't get it around him. He's looking left, he's looking right, he's trying to duck underneath him if he can. And here we go, Joram's going for the lead, and Game for Life leaves space on the inside, but Joram's going to probably be wise to that. He knows his best opportunity is coming up here. Game for Life with a slightly dodgy exit out of that corner now. A tenth of a second between them. DRS will be open for Joram, and I think this is going to be the move done here for him. Looks to the outside, the Red Bull breezes around the outside of the McLaren, and Joram's up into the lead of the race on those soft tyres. Beautifully done there from Joram. Game for Life knows he's not going to fight that one too hard because he's running on the medium tyres compared to Joram on the soft. Game for Life knows that later on in the race he can come back at Joram with some fresh softs of his own when Joram will have to run on the mediums. So Joram's still got to get his medium stint done and out of the way. He'll do that on his final stint. He now needs to pull the gap to Game for Life and have enough of a cushion that he can still win this race with Game for Life coming at him at the end of the race. So this is now Joram's opportunity to pull that gap. In the meantime, we've got Sergey. He's just made the move on Horatio up into 5th, and he's now closing up onto the back of Iron Wolf, but Horatio does not look done in this one. He's still giving it everything that he's got. Looking to the inside there, can't get anything done right now. But this is turning into an absolutely brilliant race tonight. So much action throughout the field. It really is heating up. But at the moment, Horatio just can't get around Sergey Zeynalov, and is tucking in behind in 6th place. As we see there, that's Iron Wolf ducking into the pits to put another set of tyres on. What's he going to put on from here? He can't go to the end on a set of mediums from here. Surely he's going to put the hards on if he's going to put anything on. But, well, that's a little bit of a strange one. It's not really an ideal time to come into the pits unless he's banking on a safety car, but at this rate, doesn't look like we're going to have any safety cars. It's been a very clean race so far. Horatio, though, still on the back of Sergey, despite Sergey making that move on him. He's not given up in this fight right now. Joram, since making the move on Game for Life, has gapped him a little bit, but Game for Life's got DRS here coming down towards the chicane. He won't be able to get it done there, though. Joram looks like he was a little bit earlier on the brakes. Is he going to get a better exit as a result? It looks like he is. So he's kind of just fended off that charge for the time being. Game for Life will not get DRS done this part of the track. There is no DRS in this part of the track. Slipstream still counts for something, though. Game for Life's got so much straight line speed. You can just see that McLaren is extremely quick down the straights. And he's still coming back at Joram, despite the fact that Joram's on the soft tyres. Joram needs to pull away from Game for Life, really, if he wants to win this race at this point. But whilst we're watching that, let's look back at the battle here between Sergey and Horatio. 6/10 of a second separating these two in this little battle that's going on here. It's looking pretty exciting between the two of them right now. Horatio's not giving up despite losing the position to Horatio to Sergey a few laps ago. Horatio's still not giving up despite losing that position. But Game for Life stood on the back of the leader Joram right now, lap 12 of 27. These two have been going at it for the last few laps. Joram knows he needs to pull out that gap, though. He really needs to pull out that gap. But he's not doing it at this point, and Game for Life is doing everything he needs to do. He's driving such a disciplined race at the moment, is Game for Life, because you know he could have gone straight for the response and gone to try and overtake him again, but he knows that those medium tyres are a very advantageous thing to have on his car right now, it being that he's got that medium stint out of the way, but also that they'll take him a long way into this race. He'll be able to guarantee putting the softs on at the end, and he can then go to the end of the race from there. So minimum amount of stops, maximum speed possible for the final stint of the race for Game for Life. And he's still keeping on the back of Joram, so hats off to him, doing an excellent job. As Mr. Basil and Polish My Balls have just come into the pits, and they put a set of hard tyres on each, so they should be able to go to the end, both of them. As we have got the leaders coming up on some lapped traffic. So that's Joram there coming through, putting a lap on Apex Finley. DJ Phil's just up the road from him there in P12 at this point. We've also got a battle here going on between P14, 15 and 16, where Ednas, Festic and then Vidic looking pretty close at the moment. And Vidic trying to get something done here with Festic coming in towards the final few corners. Let's see if he'll have DRS coming down the straight. I think he's a bit too far back, isn't going to be able to make that work. Game for Life still really close to the back of Joram though. Look at this, half a second between these two still. Game for Life's not letting off, and Joram's soft tyres are going to have started to feel the pace by this point as well. Game for Life now could be coming back at Joram here. He will have DRS down this part of the track. Here he goes. Game for Life in that slipstream. Is he going to be able to make it work? He's going to be close, but I think the corner's going to come just in time there for Joram, and he's going to hold on to the lead forward now. But Game for Life really hassling him, and those medium tyres showing no signs of wear. Oh, Joram gets a big twitch out of the corner. They're side by side here down the back straight towards this right-hander, and it's going to be pretty close here. Joram on the inside. What's going to happen? He's going to try and fight it here with Game for Life. They're still side by side through this right-hander. The left rear tyre is absolutely screaming as they go flat out through this part of the track, and Joram somehow holds onto the lead. I do not know how Joram has managed to keep onto that, but he's given it everything he's got as Game for Life tries to throw one up the inside. Joram needs a carve width on the inside brilliantly, and these two putting on a hell of a show here on the Motive Racing channel. Drop a like, guys, and show your appreciation for these two. They are putting on a fantastic fight to the front, and Joram somehow still holding on to this lead by the skin of his teeth as they're coming out of the last corner to complete their 13th lap of the race. Joram's got to come in at the end of this lap, surely, because those soft tyres are going to start to fall off the cliff very quickly. As Game for Life pulls out to the outside now, DRS aided, but Joram holds the inside and holds him off. just by the skin of his teeth there. I don't know how Joram managed to keep on to that. He saw Game for Life coming at the last minute and just ducked to the inside. There was no way through there for Game for Life. Joram just clinging on for dear life at this point. He needs to make sure he's got a reasonable enough buffer coming out this corner so that Game for Life won't be able to utilise the DRS to get ahead of him. Joram needs to make sure he stays on the within the white lines here, but as we come into the DRS zone now, is Game for Life going to be close enough? I think it's a little bit too far back to be able to get the move done. Joram's going to defend the inside though, coming up towards the chicane, and Game for Life's going to try and make it around the outside, but Joram holds the inside line and just keeps on weathering that storm. But for how much longer is he going to be able to, especially on the fact that he's on his 8th lap on those soft tyres? I think Joram's got to box this lap and put a set of the mediums on. He can easily get 13 laps out of mediums. He will be able to go to the end on them if he just sticks those medium tyres on now. He'll have fresher tyres than Game for Life. He'll be able to come after him, maybe close the gap, and then we'll have an absolute titanic finish to this race. But Joram doing everything he can to keep Game for Life at bay right now. These two are driving absolutely brilliantly, and they're clear away of Dadalopa in third, who's 10 seconds off of the pace at the moment. As Joram is coming into the pits now to make that pit stop, so he's coming in to put a fresh set of the soft tyres on, and let's see how that ends up for him. Joram into the pits, Game for Life coming over to start his 15th lap of the race, showing no signs of those medium tyres wearing off at the moment. He wants to go as long as he can on those medium tyres because I'm sure he'll be wanting to put the softs on for his final stint. It wouldn't make sense to do two medium stints in this race. That would be too much of a loss to Joram. I think he's surely going to put a set of the softs on, but he needs to extend this stint by a little bit. He needs to go to, I'd say, at least the end of lap 19 if he were to do that. Or absolutely, yeah, he really needs to go to the end of lap 19 to get that done. So at the moment, Game for Life's doing what he has to do, has the lead of the race, has control, and is looking good for a potential win here for round 6 of Motive Racing's Formula 1 League here on a Friday. Game for Life did take the opening round of the season at Bahrain, but since then has had a bit of a so-so season. It's been a bit hit and miss for this man so far, but right now he is doing the business out the front and looking good for another race win if he can keep it together. But Joram, we know, is going to be coming after him in the final few laps of the race. So Dadalopa up into second place at the moment. He's just 10 seconds off of the back of Game for Life. Sergey's running in third in the final podium spot, but he will lose out on that position once he comes into the pits with Joram not leading to pit again. Nemvedic is out of the race. He's DNF'd. He's crashed out somewhere. He has managed to avoid putting out the safety car though, as Game for Life is into the pits. He's got a 5-second penalty though for coming into the pits a little bit too hot-headed. He was speeding in the pits as he came in. But the important thing here is that Game for Life has opted not to try and stay out on those mediums and do a soft stint. He's opting to put a set of the mediums on, play it safe, and it's now going to be a straight fight between Joram and Game for Life. But crucially, Joram's come out clear of Game for Life. Game for Life's had a nightmare in the pit stops there. He wasn't just speeding in the pits, he also lost time as well. So he's now 7 seconds behind Joram and has got it all to do here in the final part of this race. So now Game for Life really got to step on it here in the final few laps of this race. Joram, your net race leader. Dadalopa, your actual leader. Sergey currently in second place at the moment. But Sergey, with the work that he's doing at this point, with Game for Life picking up a penalty and having that horrible pit stop, Sergey could be on for a podium here in this race. Dadalopa could very well be on for a second spot here. Game for Life is in a little bit of trouble in this race and really needs to get the hammer down in the final part of this race. Joram looking good for the win at this point, but it's all up in the air as to what might happen behind him at this point. Pit stop costs you about 15-16 seconds here at Ricard. It's about 5 seconds less than most tracks, because the pit lane entry you actually get to cut the entire last section of the track, so it means that you pretty much gain a lot of time in the pits. Well, you don't gain a lot of time, but you don't lose anywhere near as much as you ordinarily would in a typical pit lane in Formula 1. So right now Dadalopa and Sergey will be looking to try and make the most of this opportunity as we see a Red Bull peeling off into the pits. That is DJ Phil there, driving in a Red Bull this week, as he wasn't able to jump in his regular McLaren seat due to the game auto assigning him into a car as he jumped in the lobby. So He's coming into the pits to bring that Red Bull in for a fresh set of soft tyres, did it? Or maybe mediums, who knows. So yeah, soft tyres. He's put the red mark soft tyres on there as DJ Phil. As now Sergey Zeynalov leads the race. Djphil-green been into the pits and he's come out behind Game for Life, crucially. So that's what Game for Life needed. He needed to come out ahead of Djphil-green, and he's going to hold on to that net second place here in this race. Sergey maybe could be in a fight with Djphil-green still for that podium spot, though. This could get interesting between them. Horatio is only 3 seconds behind Sergey at this point, so he's not out of that battle for a podium either. With 11 laps, including this one, left to go, it's all up in the air at the moment. But Djphil-green looking good for that third spot at this point. Joram looking good for the win, but Game for Life's closing that gap to him. Game for Life's definitely reeling that gap down at the moment, but is it going to be enough with just over 10 laps left to go here in this race? That is the big question that we will obviously find out the answer to as this one goes on. We have had a few comments here tonight. Sorry to the guys watching the stream. I've completely neglected the audience. Joram saying, do you get instant kicked if you use AI? Because I need to change a thing with the force feedback and I can't do it in the garage. No, you don't get instant kick, but if you are found to use the AI for much of the race, then you'll obviously be DQ'd. If you use it for, like, say, if you disconnect, or if you use it for like a few seconds or just to change something, that's understandable, you know. But if you use the AI for most of the race, then that's a DQ. But no, it's fine. As long as you use it briefly, it's fine. Rakim in the comments saying good luck, Joram. And Rednas, obviously Raki is the father and teammate of Joram, and currently on a he's had a little trip to Zandvoort today, so he wasn't able to make it to the race here at Motive Racing, but I'm sure he's had a good time watching the F1 practice. And Raki will hopefully be back with us next week as well. Pengadoo in the comments saying good luck, guys. Very annoying about the update. Absolutely, Pengadoo. Shame you weren't able to join us tonight. Been a really exciting race for myself to watch in the commentary box. Kiel Beckett, otherwise known as Viper, says evening. Welcome along, Viper. Good to see you. We've also got Sophie Jones in the comments as well. Both of those two are admins for the F1 2021 community that we do the Wednesday and Sunday League with. So big shout out to those two for the work they do on that. And good to see you watching the stream as well for tonight. As we can see, Ozan pretty close to the back of Push My Balls here. Looks to the inside in towards turn one. He's going to get that move done, I think, is Ozan Klim. Polish My Balls trying to hang it there, but he's got a bit loose there, and Polish My Balls has spun out, and it's going to drop him off the back of Ozan Klim. Ozan Klim doing a good job there, getting up into the position on much better tyres, being on those fresh mediums, and he's up into 9th place as a result. Horatio still your man leading the race, but we're expecting that to change once he comes into the pits. Joram is in second, but he will lead the race once Horatio brings it in. So Joram's just going to bring it through these last 9 laps. He has got some traffic here just in front of him. That looks like it's the Haas car of Apex Finley. Game for Life there, sat in what is a net second place during this race, and he's continuing to close that gap down to Joram. Game for Life is flying at this point. He really is bringing himself into contention for this victory, but I don't know, it's just a question of he's going to run out of laps or not. I mean, Joram obviously net leader in a good position, but it's all just down to how much grit and determination Game for Life has got at this point. He's closing the gap, but is it going to be by enough? Horatio out in front right now on those medium tyres. Horatio really needs a safety car at this point. That's what he needs to win this race. He's on the mediums. He's managed to go 11 laps on them. This track, one of the highest on tyre deg on the Formula 1 game, in fact, if not the highest, aside from probably Bahrain and Abu Dhabi, I would say. So, yeah, it's very, very hard on the tyres, Paul Ricard. More down to the nature of the track than due to the climate. And Horatio would be hard pushed to make those tyres last 19 laps. It would be, it's borderline impossible, I'm going to be honest. But he's just coming up on some traffic now, and he will get DRS here. Joram, though, is within a second of him, so Joram's going to get the move done probably on track before Horatio even comes in to make that pit stop that he needs to make. But Joram is in striking distance now, but Game for Life continuing to bring that gap down to Joram by quite a rate of knots at this point. Joram will be seeing that delta coming down and probably knows he's got to step on it, but has he got any response to that? I mean, that is the question. Ultimately, he knows he's got to really push on, but is he going to be able to at the moment? We've got 7.5 laps left to go here at Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix of Motive Racing. Been an action-packed race, no safety cars, no major incidents. Nemvilic the only retirement, so it's been really good driving standards from all of the drivers out there. And at the moment, Game for Life continuing to reel in the net race leader Djphil-green. Horatio needs to come in and change those tyres. They're going to be absolutely on the cliff in a matter of time. But Djphil-green and Game for Life currently separated by 2 seconds. Djphil-green's losing chunks of time here and there, and it's just costing him dearly in this race. The gap's now almost under 2 seconds between these two. They got 7 seconds back to Dadalopa, who in turn has got 4.5 seconds back to Sergey. So Sergey's running, well, 4.5 seconds off of 4th place. But these two, I think, we're expecting them to... Oh, I don't know, actually. They might... Yeah, I'm expecting Dadalopa and Sergey to jump Horatio when Horatio comes in. That is even if Horatio does come in, because Horatio will be aware of the fact that he'll lose a lot of time in this race if he comes into the pits. Maybe he's just going to risk it for a biscuit and try and stay out. And if he doesn't win, then at least he might get a podium out of it. But I don't know. I think if he comes in now for a set of soft, then he'd be easily able to get them to the end. He'd be able to push them to their limit, and he'd probably be able to reel in Dadalopa and Sergey at the end. He'd have probably about 0.7 to a second of a lap quicker than Dadalopa and Sergey if he brought the car in and put the softs on. So I'm not sure what Horatio's plan is at this point, but he is just putting a lap on some traffic. Well, he's trying to, but the AI there of Apex Finley not really seeming like he wants to play ball there. One thing I'm pretty impressed with at this point, though, is the fact that Horatio is actually keeping the gap to Djphil-green at 1.2 seconds, although Djphil-green looks like he might be struggling a little bit now because he's now got Game for Life looking all over his outside. Djphil-green's going to be pretty vulnerable to the attack here from Game for Life as Game for Life throws one up the inside. Djphil-green leads the cars with it, but for the time being, Game for Life still can't get it done here. These two continuing their race-long battle that they've had. Djphil-green came out of the pits a little way ahead of Game for Life, but Game for Life has brought the gap back down and is now right up his chuff here as they're coming out of the final corner. 2 complete lap 21, 6 laps left to go here for the French Grand Prix Motive Racing. It's currently Djphil-green still sat in that P2. They're now within DRS of Horatio, so that's going to benefit Djphil-green because he's now going to get DRS off of Horatio, which will aid him in his defence from Game for Life. But Game for Life's alongside him coming into turn 3. He's going to get that move done surely as he rides over the curb a little bit, and Djphil-green powerless to the end from that one, but Djphil-green will now get DRS coming out of this part of the track. If he gets a good exit out of this right-hander, he'll be in striking distance here to come straight back at Game for Life. Here we go, the Red Bull's going to pick up a tow here. DRS is going to be open for him, and is Djphil-green going to be able to come back at Game for Life? Here we come, down towards the chicane. The rear wing is open for Game for Life as well, so Djphil-green's not going to be able to make it work in towards the chicane. Tucked in behind him for the time being. Horatio still out in front doing the business, but he's going to need to pick because those tyres are going to be on a nice edge pretty shortly. Paul Bennett there says, hey guys, come on Horatio, you can get to the end on them now. I reckon he might be able to. It's Game for Life. Oh, Game for Life's going for the lead here on Horatio. Up the inside, great stuff there from Game for Life. Horatio powerless to defend on those worn out medium tyres. Now it looks like Djphil-green's going to move through as well up into second place. So the two contenders for this race win, the ones we knew were in the contention since the get-go, are now in 1 and 2, and Horatio, it's got 7 seconds back to Dadalopa, so if he can make those medium tyres last, then he might be on for a podium here, Horatio. But currently, the battle for the lead, Game for Life from Djphil-green, and Horatio still in contention here on the back of Djphil-green as they're coming down the start-finish straight now. He's a little bit too far back though, is Horatio, to come back at Djphil-green, but I think Game for Life may have just won himself the race here. But having said that, I think Game for Life has got a penalty, hasn't he? I think Game for Life has got a penalty. I think he's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits, if I remember correctly. So with that factored in, maybe, just maybe, Djphil-green could have been thrown a lifeline here. I'm not sure what exactly the situation is with the penalties, but I'm pretty sure it's a 5-second penalty for Game for Life. So maybe if Djphil-green can stay within that 5-second window, he might still be able to take this race win. It's going to be close though. He's got Horatio Hast in the back of him in towards the chicane. Horatio can't get done up the inside of him at the moment though. But Game for Life still currently doing the business out the front. But the big question at this point is he going to have enough in hand to take the win with the penalties that he's got? That is the question that we're asking ourselves right now. But got 2.6 back to this man Joram, who's just ahead of Horatio. Horatio's dropped off for Joram. He must have made a mistake there. He's now got Dadalopa really close on him, so those medium tyres I think are starting to fall off the cliff a little bit. I did say earlier on, Horatio, you should have come into the pits and put some softs on. You'd have been able to reel in Dadalopa and Sergey if you'd come in a couple of laps ago, but I suppose hindsight's a wonderful thing. But now he's going to find himself really struggling here. Here's Horatio. He's going to have to defend like crazy here from Dadalopa. As Dadalopa gets a little bit of a twitch coming out the final corner, down the start finish straight they come. He'll get an easy overtake here due to the DRS and down to the fact that he's on much fresher rubber. And Dadalopa moves up into the final podium spot. Nicely done there from him into third place. Sergey's only about 2 seconds off of the back of these two. And the thing about Sergey now is that he can see not just Horatio, but he can see Dadalopa just in front of Horatio. And now Sergey, within maybe 2 or 3 seconds of a podium spot here. So an unlikely podium for this man. He's returned to the F1 League. Obviously, has been away for a few weeks, enjoying his summer, being that he's young lad who's just finished school and he's gone off to uni, so he's obviously returned to Motive Racing here, and he's doing a great job on his comeback race. He's our ACC league coordinator for the GT3 league as well, so he's on the staff team here in admin, does a bit of commentary as well for us, and he's now very much in striking distance here of Horatio, and he wants to keep within sight of Dadalopa as well if he's to keep himself within a chance of getting a podium spot. Keep an eye on the gap at the front as well. Game for Life's got 3 seconds to Joram. He needs 5 seconds in order to take the win with the penalties. So Game for Life at the moment is not going to get the race win. Joram is doing enough at this point to get to stay within that 5 second window and ultimately be the race victor tonight. Out of the last corner, Game for Life needs to find a second and a half in 3 laps. So he needs to gain half a second a lap on average over this man Joram. So Game for Life has got work to do here in the final few laps of this race. Sergey is now ahead of Horatio and he can focus his attention on Dadalopa in these final 3 laps of the race. What has Sergey got to try and offer Dadalopa here though? That's the big question. 2.2 seconds, the gap's coming down. Sergey's tyres are a lap fresher than Dadalopa, so you'll have a slight advantage, maybe about 1/10 of a second I'd say that gives you. It's not going to be major, but it may definitely, well, it may pay dividends. But Dadalopa there still sat in third place right now as there's a back marker there just idling a little bit. I think that's an Alpine there. It's either, yeah, so it's Polish My Balls there just in front of Sergey. So Sergey's within 1.2 of Dadalopa and will want to clear Polish My Balls as soon as he possibly can. Dadalopa there still sat in that final podium spot. Has Sergey got ahead of Polish My Balls yet? No, he hasn't. Polish My Balls is probably going to let him past here, I would imagine. No, still not. Is he going to let him past here? He's going to drive through him there, so the ghosting there playing into effect. So Sergey now is now within a second of Dadalopa. This is going to get exciting. And what's happened to Joram? Joram's made a mistake. He's now 8.5 seconds behind Game for Life. That has probably given Game for Life the opportunity to just cruise home and take this race win. He's got that 5 second penalty, but he's now got 9 seconds back to Joram. So Joram making a small mistake there has probably cost him the race win here. Still yet to take his first win in the F1 League here at Motive Racing is Joram. Almost had it at Bahrain the first race of the season, but crashed out in the final few laps. Game for Life looks set to take his second win of the season if he can continue doing exactly what he's doing at the moment. Question is though, can Sergey take this podium finish position off of Dadalopa in the final couple of laps of this race? Horatio's got a 3 second penalty there for track limits by the sounds of it, and he's now got Iron Wolf on the back of him as Horatio's put a set of the soft tyres on. Horatio should be able to pull away from Iron Wolf. I think he's got ahead of him just now. I think he's actually just made that move on him because he's on fresh softs compared to Iron Wolf's worn out hard tyres, so I'm pretty sure he's just made that move up into the position. So now that's Horatio up into 5th. But Dadalopa and Sergey still going at it here with a lap and a half left to go here at Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix at Motive Racing, round 6 of the Friday Formula 1 League. It's been an absolutely brilliant race. Game for Life and Joram have been the stars of the show, but Game for Life looks like he's going to be able to take this win unless he messes up in this final lap in a bit. Dadalopa though still clinging on for dear life ahead of Sergey Zeynalov. What's Sergey got to offer him in these final couple of laps? Has he got anything left in the tank to throw at Dadalopa? These two on very similar aged tyres, but Sergey's done one lap less on them, which will probably benefit him a little bit. As we come onto the final lap, here we come out of the last corner onto the start finish straight now. Sergey, he's got 4 tenths to make up in the DRS zone. He's not going to get this done. Half a second's a little bit too much to make the move, but Dadalopa's going to look, he's up the inside there. That's brilliant closing speed there from Sergey, and he's made the move. Brilliant stuff there. I didn't think he was close enough, but Sergey Zeynalov absolutely seizing on his opportunity there. Up the inside of Dadalopa and up into the final podium spot. Brilliant stuff there from Sergey. I did not see that one coming. I must admit, that caught me by surprise. But Sergey now up into 3rd place. Game for Life is on the final lap. The race leader's got about half a lap left to go here until he'll take his 2nd win of the season. Sergey, though, looks like he's got that one done. Or is Dadalopa going to come back at him coming into the chicane? He's going to have to slipstream here. Dadalopa looking to the inside. Sergey defends coming into the braking zone. Maybe a little bit of a move there as he came onto the brakes. But Dadalopa trying to go around the outside. Sergey leaves him the space. They're still side by side in the exit of the chicane. This is great racing between these two. But I think that Sergey's going to just hold on. And Joram's made a mistake. Joram's dropping back as he ran out of fuel. I think Joram's out of fuel. He's cruising down the back straight. And that is now going to be absolute disaster there for Joram. It's going to drop him off the podium. It's going to possibly lose him points as well. Oh no, what a shame. Game for Life though has got a couple of corners left to go as we abandon the battle between Sergey and Dadalopa. Game for Life's going to take his 2nd win of the season and extend the gap here at the top of the championship. Great win from Game for Life tonight. Absolutely tore it apart in that final stint. Is your race winner takes the checkered flag. Sergey though is going to hold off Dadalopa in that battle for 2nd place. What a brilliant fight between those two in the closing laps. Sergey, a P2 on his return to the F1 League. Absolutely brilliant job. Take your hat off to that one. That is superb stuff. Dadalopa completes the podium. Joram is going to come round to take a 4th place. He just cruises over the line there in P4. Lucky boy, I've got to say, to finish that race. Horatio will come round to take 5th. Don't know what happened to Joram on that last lap though. It must have been fuel, surely. But Horatio takes a P5.
Fueled on that one.
Yeah, I think so. Jaffa-Cake's going to come around to take a 6th place there, ahead of Iron Wolf, who seems to have also had fuel problems, but he's just going to limp over the line there to bring it home in 7th. Ozan Clint, Apex Finley, Polish My Balls, Mr. Basil, Rednas, Djphil and Festic will finish the race. Asbaz is going to be the last driver to finish on the lead lap, but I think he's out of fuel as well. They're all out of fuel on this last lap, but Hasbaz comes up towards the line and he's going to take an 8th place here as he just limps over. Rednas, I think, was also in a similar situation. He hasn't finished the race yet. He is a lap down, but he's just coming out of the last corner now to finish in P13. So, Game for Life, your race winner tonight. Did really well considering he had a penalty. He had a 5-second penalty, but didn't let that stop him or get him down. He just kept on pushing on and ultimately overcame it. So McLaren of Game for Life taking the win here. Sergey Zeynalov inheriting that 2nd place due to that last lap catastrophe there for Joram. 3rd place in the end goes to Dadalopa, who got mugged by Sergey on that last lap. But that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for round 6 of the Formula 1 League here at Motive Racing. Game for Life, Sergey and Dadalopa, your podium finishes. Joram in 4th, Horatio in 5th, Jaffa-Cake 6th, Iron Wolf in 7th, Asbaz, Ozan Clint and Apex Finley completing the top 10. Polish My Balls in 11th, Mr. Basil, Rednas, Djphil in 14th place. It's not letting us scroll down any further, but so that's all that we can show you here, ladies and gentlemen. But I want to say a big thank you to everybody who joined us here in the YouTube stream. Please, guys, drop a like on the video if you haven't already, as it really does help us out an enormous amount. 11 people watching there, 15 people watching at one point, guys. Please, let's get this video to 10 likes if we possibly can. We've also got DJ Phil in the commentary box. Phil, your teammate there, Game for Life, taking the victory. How does that feel to see that? And just sum up, what was your race like from that cockpit in the Red Bull? It was good.
I didn't have the best of nights, so let me just say that in the Red Bull this evening. But I do give it to Sergey as the driver of the day, though. Which
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Sergey, driver of the day. Really did put in a hell of a shift.
He did.
Hats off to him, especially when you consider that he's been away from the league for a while. He hasn't played the F1 game for a long time, and only got the game at the weekend. So last weekend, I think. So really well done to him. But yeah, great stuff there. Good to see your what's meant to be your teammate, Game for Life, taking the win. But hopefully we'll see you in a McLaren next time out, Phil. But from all of us here at Motive Racing, a big thank you to those who joined us. Also, thank you to all the patrons and the subscribers. Drop a like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Please do it. And we will see you in the next one. Have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you in the next one.
Just have to give it to that one. That's Sergey. Which is quite good.
And Sergey did really well.
He did indeed. And good race in the GT3 yesterday, by the way.
Ah, cheers, mate. I'm liking the BMW a lot more than the Ginetta.
I'm in the Mercedes this year.
Yeah, I saw you in the